If you've ever had haters, if you've ever had people that have come at you, if you've ever had people that have just thrown shade at you, you know how frustrating it can be, especially when you are on purpose, especially if you are driven and you have something on your mind that you need to share, which is usually the case in leadership. In this video tonight, I'm coming at you live. I'm going to talk to you about a recent leadership gaffe that I did, shot myself in the foot, metaphorically speaking, not literally, and the lessons learned. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, and listen up. What's up, my friends? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is JT DeBolt. No matter what time it is, no matter where you might be calling in from or tuning in from on the Big Blue Marble, thank you for joining me here. If you are into leadership, if you are into high performance strategies and you're an entrepreneur or a leader in any capacity, hit that like and subscribe button. Stay in the know so you can be the first to know when I bring new content to you here in the True Driven community. So let me just jump straight into the message. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory. I'm going to move my chair up here and give you some insights into what sparked this message. So the other day I went on social media, mistake perhaps number one, and found a post from a very well-known influencer. This particular influencer is known for his expertise in philosophy, stoicism, and things like this. Now, I've read lots of his books. He's very well known as an author, speaker, all these kinds of things. Lots of respect for the guy. However, he has a tendency to behave as a hypocrite from time to time. What do I mean by that? He has a tendency to, like we all do, share his opinions on things. And instead of talking about stoicism proper, he kind of filters it through his lens of, I guess we call it identity politics. Let me say this. A lot of things have gone on over the past, 5, 6, 7 years here in our country, the United States, and globally. And to think that all of a sudden, out of the blue, over the past 6 or 7 months, it's gotten gotten worse, or it was somehow utopic before and now it got bad, I think is a little bit myopic. Now, I'm not here to claim that one party or one side's better than the other. That's actually not the point of the content. The point of the content is that there are people out there that literally cannot see the forest for the trees. They can't use critical thought. And so I happened to see a post that from him that was, quite frankly, a little bit, if I'm being frank, hypocritical, basically making it out to say as if there was one side of an argument and that was the only side. I basically said, hey, dude, this is a great example of a straw man argument because both sides can be true at the same time. And boy, did his followers come after me. Now, that's not the hard part. The part that I don't have a problem with that because, frankly, his followers are his followers, right? And so when they hear something that goes against their hero, naturally, they're probably going to jump in on that. Totally understand that. What was interesting was one of the very first comments, instead of bringing any kind of conversation, any kind of discourse, any kind of dialogue, basically resorted to just debasing me. And he made a comment. It was just kind of funny. He's like, what do you call yourself, a great American? Now, that's not a hurtful comment. And just to be clear, nobody can offend you. Nobody can offend you. Being offended is a choice. It's a choice, and it's also a surrender of your own personal power to another person or words or whatever it might be. So by no means was there any offense here, or there was no damage or no injury. It was just funny because I'm like, I don't know what that has to do with anything. My first mistake was just first and flat out just ignoring the comment and just moving on with my day. Instead, I felt the compulsion to jump in on it. And I did so from a frame of wanting to try to make a point, like I'm not just some deadbeat that doesn't know what he's talking about. Second mistake. The third mistake was getting drawn into all the other comments. Now, let me give you a little bit of backstory and kind of perspective as to the whole point of me commenting on this piece in the first place. I see life, generally speaking, through the lens of leadership. Does that mean that I'm an excellent leader or a leadership expert? No, that's not what I'm stating. What I'm saying is that I know the power of working on your personal leadership, which is the entire foundation for what we do here at the True Driven community. And so it was really important to me to jump in on this because I saw a leadership gaffe in a person that, quite frankly, has a lot of people that respect him blindly, but they respect him nonetheless. So it was I just took it upon myself to make this comment. Now, was I in the right? Doesn't matter whether I was or not. if I go back and I was going to coach myself, if I was my own client and I said, "Hey, JT, here's what happened to me today. What do you have as far as input?" My first thought probably would have been, "Dude, what are you doing wasting your time even fucking around with this?" Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't engage on social media. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is be purposeful. And if I'm being honest, that was my initial intent. My initial intent was to give some clarity and to give some perspective from a leadership standpoint. Again, I see the world through that lens because I'm passionate about it. I want to work on it and improve it in myself, and I want to help other people do it. I have seen the power in developing your own personal leadership, that personal excellence inside yourself. I've seen it do amazing things in my own life. I've seen it do amazing things in the lives of the people that I love and people that I follow and people that I've learned a lot from. So I personally see it as my calling to do that. And that's the whole point of me doing any kind of content or anything online or socially, and especially the things that I do inside the True Driven community. Now, I share this with you because that was the initial intent. What was kind of funny about this whole thing is it devolved very quickly and went away from anything leadership minded. So here's a couple of lessons that I learned from this, lessons that I hope you can take away from this so that you don't make the same mistake. Lesson number one, if you're going to go online and you're going to use that as a platform to speak out or to share your message, I 100% celebrate that. I encourage it. I think you should do that. But approach it from a place of being a producer, not a consumer. And if you must consume, make it an 80-20 rule, 80% production, 20% consumption. Now, how you do that, if you have to set a timer, if you have to use the Pareto principle or whatever you need to do, I don't care. But my point is this, is that you got to be very diligent in how you use your time, energy, and focus, your life force. Otherwise, you will get sucked dry by these vampires. That's the first and foremost point, is approach social media, if you're going to use it, as a place of being a producer, a provider. Now, this is a leadership lesson in and of itself. We should all kind of see ourselves as producers as opposed to consumers. A lot of the problems we have in the world are because most people have an entitlement problem, right? They believe that they're entitled to things. And right off the bat, not only are you coming off as a victim, but you're coming off as a consumer. The question is, what are you providing to the world? What are you providing to the marketplace? And that's the reason I love entrepreneurs so much, is because entrepreneurs genuinely are geared towards being solution providers as well as providing other services. So that was lesson number one. Lesson number one, if you're going to show up on social media, if you're going to do anything, do so with intention. Don't just show up kind of mindfully or mindlessly because you want to waste time or you want to fill time. It's very easy to do. We all do it, myself included, but be intentional when you do it and show up as a producer. Number two, if you're going to do what I did, make sure that you're adding value. That was my intention. My intention was to add value, but that value was undermined. All credibility lost when I went to the next part, and that was engaging in these comments. There was no reason for me to even respond to this comment from this troll. Now, you guys call them haters. I refer to them as trolls because let's think about this for a second. Does the guy genuinely hate me? Probably not. Does he have a heart full of hate? I don't know. I don't know the first thing about him. I'm going to approach this from a place of, best intentions and high regard, hold the guy in positive regard and think that he's probably just somebody who is, maybe he's having an off day, or maybe he's just bored. Maybe he's got life by the balls and he's fucking got nothing better to do than to show up online and just trash people. I don't know. Maybe in his mind, he thought he was doing something good by standing up for his hero. Fucking who knows, right? The point is this, is that he's probably sitting in his mom's basement, taking care of the cat and, eating Cheetos out of his belly button and just decided that, oh man, let me show this guy. And instead of me taking the high road, I went down to his level. Now, I had a mentor of mine years ago that said, never engage in a battle of wits with an unarmed opponent. And I thought that was pretty good. So I got to remember that. That's a lesson learned that I needed to hear and I needed to remind myself. And that's the reason I'm sharing this video with you. Be very, very careful about the conversations that you engage with on social media, because it's not about what's said and what could be used against you and all that kind of shit. That's aside the point. I want you to think about, is it really worth your time? Is it worth your energy? Is it worth your intellect to get into it with this person? Chances are pretty low that it's worth your time. Now, you may feel the need to just get it off your chest. And if you're like me, maybe you were in a moment where you weren't at your best and you did it anyway. That's fine. But future moving forward, I'm going to do everything I can to be earnest and not doing that stupid shit. And I encourage you to do the same. Lesson number 3, and this might be the one that I think was, for me, the most valuable, is I was able to pull back and reflect on what was actually said. And by that, what I mean is this: what caused me to respond to this guy? Was I triggered? I hope not. Was it something that, deep down inside, there's some kind of a thing that needed to be that's unresolved, that needed to be, kind of healed up or whatever? I don't know. But it did cause me to stop and think, what the fuck am I doing here? What was the need for me to reach out and have to fucking get into this? And then, by the way, I got it from left, right, center, you name it, upside down, 360 degrees from every single asshole online. Now, I'm sure they're nice people. One guy actually was. We actually engaged in discourse where we can disagree on things, but still have respectful conversation. We actually left. He said, I respect that. I respect you too. Unbelievable. So it can happen. Two people from opposite sides of an opinion coming together. They don't, just because you disagree doesn't mean you can't be respectful. You can actually listen to somebody and not necessarily buy into what they're talking about, but have respect for them and their perspective. Whoa, shit, that would take critical thought, right? And yes, it causes us to take the ego aside, put it over there on the desk, and sit down without that armory and feel like we have to go to battle with every single person we talk to online. That was, I think, probably the most important lesson. Was looking back and reflecting on that was, what really caused me to be there to do that? Like, what was I thinking? What was I feeling? What was going on in my head? Was I preoccupying my time instead of doing something more, difficult, more challenging, more purposeful? Was I backing down from a challenge? Was I backing down from something that was elevated above, how I was behaving in that moment, and stepping up to that elevated platform? Was that somehow kind of scary or whatever? I mean, not to overthink these things and not to get psycho crazy about them. I'm just suggesting that we slow down and kind of think about things. How often do you really check in on yourself? How often do you ask yourself, hey man, how you doing? I know that might sound weird to say to yourself, but just think about it for a second. Do you have people doing that for you? Hey man, how you doing? Hopefully you do. Hopefully you've got 1, 2, 3 friends. It doesn't matter how many, at least it's one person that's genuinely looking in on you, checking in on you to see how you're doing. And hopefully you're doing that for somebody else as well. But do it for yourself and ask yourself in those moments when you find yourself wasting time or you find yourself procrastinating, hey man, how you doing? What's going on here? Are you like, what are you avoiding, man? What is it you're avoiding? And what could you be doing that's basically allowing you to be that best version of yourself? You true drivens know this because I talk about this all the time with you guys, right? It is that opportunity in the moment to say no to something that's either keeping you stuck or bringing you down. And motherfucker, if I wasn't that person allowing myself to get pulled down into the weeds, into the bullshit, into the muck and the mire and the mud with this asshole. No offense. I'm sure he's a nice person. Maybe he's not an asshole, but that was me not demonstrating leadership. And the whole fucking point to me getting online in the first place was to help share leadership. So instead of taking the time, energy, focus, and all of my skills and tools and gifts and putting them toward helping people that care and that actually want to be their best, I got pulled into something and pulled completely off the mission. Not cool. So I share this with you because, quite frankly, I just believe in transparency. And this is kind of one of those moments where I'm like, fuck, dude, what are you doing? And so after thinking about it, I was like, well, I better share this with my tribe, share this with my followers, share this with the people that actually give a shit about personal excellence, and let you know that if this happens to you, it's okay, but just don't let it happen over and over again. Don't let it be a regular occurrence, and learn from my mistakes. So really, it just boils down to those 3 things. And if I could just ballpark it or put it down into one of those TLDR type, kind of messages, it's this. You are a leader. The world needs more leaders. You should have strong beliefs. You guys have heard me talk about the big four: your values, your vision, your mission, and having a sense of purpose. Well, guess what? I derailed from that. I got off track from that. I wasn't aligned with my values when I was on getting into this online argument. By the way, dragged in for hours. I allowed it to. I clearly wasn't living in accordance with my vision, because my vision is not to argue with people online about dumb shit, right? There was no mission behind this. In fact, if anything, this hurt the mission. It pulled me off the mission, prevented me from taking steps toward accomplishing the mission. But I think the most painful part is I forgot my purpose. I had no sense of purpose. What was I doing? Sitting on the couch arguing with a guy, probably sitting on his couch arguing? Come on, man. I'm better than that. He's probably better than that. We as a society and as a civilization can and have to be better than that. The true answer to every single problem we have is leadership. Every problem we have is a leadership problem. One thing I have on my whiteboard here in my office here, I look at it every day, is every problem I'm facing is a leadership problem. I got myself into this. I will lead myself out. Now, that's not to say that my life's full of problems. It's just to say that if there's anything in your life right now that's troublesome, frustrating, or in other words, not working out the way you want it to, it's a leadership issue. You got yourself into this. You can lead yourself out, but you don't have to do it alone. Most important thing is you do have support. You have people out there. I'm sure you do. And if you don't, then I encourage you to tag along here. Hit that subscribe button, follow, stay in the know, be the first to know when I drop new content, because my mission is to help people just like you stay driven. We are very misunderstood at times because we have those strong opinions. We're hard-headed, strong-willed people at times. Leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs out there making a difference. Sometimes we're going to say things, we're going to step on toes. I want you doing that. It's important to put your message out there. It's important to have your values portrayed in your content. It's important to have a strong opinion and to share it. Just remember, you don't necessarily always have to have an opinion about everything, and you don't always have to share your opinion about everything. Sometimes it's nice just to say, fuck it, not my circus, not my monkeys. Anyway, hope this helped. I just wanted to share this with full transparency because, man, it was a leadership lesson that I obviously needed to relearn, as painful as it was, and frankly, a little bit embarrassing. But I couldn't think of a better use of the lesson than to share it with you guys, because honestly, as true drivens out there, you're going to be mixing it up. You're going to be breaking eggs. It doesn't matter. You're going to invariably step on somebody's toes, piss somebody off, or quote unquote offend them. But remember, it's not you, it's them. Nobody can really offend you unless you choose to be offended. It doesn't mean you got to go out there and be an asshole. I'm not saying that, nor do I think you implied or think that I implied that, or did you take it that way? My point is simply this. As a leader, people look to you for your strength. As a leader, people are looking to you to actually have an opinion, to have a vision. You will get in the way. People will invariably disagree with you. That's perfectly okay. Be careful what you get yourself into. Make sure it's worth your while. Make sure it aligns with your values. Make sure that it supports your vision. Make sure it doesn't take you off. If anything, it bolsters your mission. But also remember to stay on purpose. Don't lose sight of that like I did the other day. Anyway, my friends, hope this helped you. If you got some value from this, let me know in the comments. Share it far and wide. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the know and be the first to know when I bring you new content. New episodes of the True Driven Podcast coming to you soon. And remember, no matter what course you fly in life, fly high, fly fast, fly far, stay driven.